Now, the final presidential debate began with President Trump striking a new tone by owning up to the coronavirus spread being completely out of his control.
And you say, I take no responsibility.
Let me talk about your two.
Excuse me, I take full responsibility. It's not my fault that he came here. It's China's fault.
Okay, I've used the China did it excuse to return J.Crew cashmere with a little latte stain.
Oh, yeah. Does that work?
Well, the hairspray and matches help a lot.
Absolutely. Now, Jessica, will Americans be inspired by the president's mature, measured acceptance of zero responsibility?
Well, I would say the pundits were impressed with his comparatively disciplined presentation tonight. But the soundbite you played is kind of at the center of this election. Joe Biden is making the case that the president shouldn't be reelected because of his responsibility on coronavirus. And the president contradicted himself. He says, I take responsibility. And right away after that, it's not my fault. That's the soundbite that'll get replayed.
Now, here's what I'll say. We didn't hear either man tonight talk about what coastal island getaway spot will be named the next mass grave site. It was a missed opportunity for a big reveal that many were looking forward to.
Well, I don't get it. Doesn't coronavirus expire in December? Why do they keep harping on this?
Junior, you're thinking of the mayonnaise in the fridge again.
Okay. Well, that reminds me then we need more mayonnaise in 2 months.
Well, I'm pretty sure mayonnaise doesn't go bad, guys. But with all due respect, this absolutely is Joe Biden's fault. I mean, if you look back at the books, Joe Biden was one of the main founders of China. This has got to be the first thing kids learn in history class, besides what it looked like when Kid Rock's head crowned out of his mother at birth.
Tyler, you said kids rocks.
So?
Thank you for that perspective, Tyler, as always. Now, tonight, Trump explained that if you're still experiencing the effects of structural racism, that's on you for not living inside his head.
If you look, with the exception of Abraham Lincoln, possible exception, but the exception of Abraham Lincoln, nobody has done what I've done. I can't even see the audience because it's so dark, but I don't care who's in the audience. I'm the least racist person in this room.
Abraham Lincoln here is one of the most racist presidents we've had in modern history.
Okay, well, we now know Joe Biden is for fracking President Trump's chances for re-election.
Definitely. Now, to fact-check President Trump's claim, we had the research department do 1 second of Googling, and here's what came back.
Our inner cities are a disaster. You get shot walking to the store. Very fine people on both sides. They're not sending their best. They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists. You wouldn't believe how bad these people are. These are animals. Negotiating with China. They say, we want deal. China virus. China virus. China virus. Kung flu. Pocahontas. I think Islam hates us.
Wow. Now, Jessica, Kristen Welker is black, and isn't it very upsetting to hear that she is more racist than President Trump?
I'm sure she would be surprised by that characterization. Look, this is part of the reason President Trump has eroded some of the support he had in 2016, especially from suburban white women. They are once Trump supporters now highly critical and upset by what they view as his racially divisive language. I would call it racist. And I think that you saw tonight an attempt at a defense, but it's not really going to stick with the key voters that he needs to woo in order to win back the White House.
Well, I think Trump is trying to show people that he can do it all here. He can do racist things. He can do not racist things. He's a true multitasker.
It was a strong argument for Trump to make that the two people who've done the most for black people are white people.
Now, the president then did his personal My Sharona and dazzled fans by breaking out his most classic hit, referring to immigrants as subhuman.
When you say they come back, they don't come back, Joe. They never come back. Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ, they might come back.
Look, if you're Donald Trump, you got to clock your daily racism reps, all right? It's all about the grind, folks.
Now, contrary to the president's objective, well-researched findings, quote, about 99% of asylum seekers who were not detained or who were previously released from immigration custody showed up for their hearings over the last year. Ouchie. I give that lie 4 of my perfect little tiny noses.
Now, Jessica, I gotta say, it's so embarrassing for President Trump. He was completely wrong about this one. When can we expect a correction from the Trump campaign?
I mean, this is meant as red meat to his base. So with the prior comment when he was proclaiming himself a racism fighter, he's trying to make an appeal to the center and seem like a moderate. And the comments on immigrants are then attacked back to play to the base. At another moment, he said that the kids who have been separated from their families and are held in detention centers are in great conditions. as if this is nothing to be upset about. That is definitely a red meat play, and it actually hurts his chances again with the swing voters he needs to woo on election day.
Next, the candidates discuss whether our election integrity is most vulnerable to Russia, Iran, or some other country malevolent enough to manipulate a nation who spends most of its budget on death tech.
His buddy, I will. His buddy, Rudy Giuliani, he's being used as a Russian pawn. He's being fed information that is Russian, that is not true.
Well, I guess civility is out the window and people are allowed to accuse each other of being friends with Rudy Giuliani.
Now, parents across America are going to have to explain to their kids what Rudy Giuliani is.
It's a real tough conversation. Now, Jessica, should we worry about foreign nations undermining our elections, or are you confident we already destroyed them with poll taxes and gerrymandering and voter purges and 12-hour lines and polling place shutdowns?
I do think that's a pretty good point. We're doing a pretty good job of challenging our voters and making it hard to vote in the U.S. But I do think it's a legitimate concern. The thing is, if you want to fight if you want to fight intervention from foreign sources, you have to do it more than 10 days before the election, more than 2 weeks before the election.
Well, you're all overreacting. How can Russia hack us when it's far? Russia is far, you guys. And plus, it's too big. Too big. So far. Can't hack because of the big and everything. Yeah.
Trump actually tried this exact strategy in 2016 with wild accusations of corruption against Hillary Clinton. The American people are smarter than to fall for such cheap ploys, and that's why Trump's plan went off without a hitch.
Wow, when I think about it, this is all just too much going on with this whole thing. So let me know when it's okay for me to zip out of here.
All right, coming up, Dianne Feinstein kisses Amy Coney Barrett on the mouth, looks into her eyes, and says, "I love you," in a beautiful display of bipartisanship.
Plus, Chuck Todd arrives at the decoy location NBC gave to keep him far away from the debate.